Welcome to Living Magically. I'm your host, Magical Michelle, and today I have with me one of my favorite Theta Healing instructor friends. We've known each other 8 years or more. She does Theta Healing, Reiki, works with angels. She's this powerhouse of a woman, and just recently I found out that she had a book that was on its 10th anniversary, and it's called Uncommon Faith: Transform the Past and Be Free. And I just finished reading it, and I can't say enough wonderful things about it. But more importantly, the day this video is coming out, we are premiering a brand new book. So I'd like to introduce you to Felicia and have her tell you about the new book.
Hi guys, so I'm really happy to be here. Michelle and I, we've worked together a long time. When I met Michelle, I was deepening my studies in Theta Healing, and she's always been a great inspiration. I feel like where she is at now is where I want to go. So I love being in a place to work with you and be able to touch your audience as well. So yeah, Uncommon Faith was 10 years ago. That was a culmination of that time of where I was working with yoga and Reiki and Buddhism on my own path of healing. And that book explores the role of what I came to know as uncommon faith. And in that book, it talks about how there is faith, which sometimes we get messages and we sort of know what we need to do, but uncommon faith is when you actually do the thing.
And
You,
and that's the thing,
yeah.
right? We all are downloaded with these inspirations, but what do you do with them and how do you act on them? And I love that every chapter has an apply the lesson section, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I love that because I was meditating, and that's where the angels have always been very helpful, and I work with them because I was like, how do I tie this all together? And that was what they had shown me was, bringing in some in each chapter is like testimonials from people I was working with, and then the lessons. So even on Spotify, you can go on Spotify, and those meditations are on live there. So the ones at the end of each chapter, you could go and listen to me guide you through them too. So,
My favorite is getting in touch with the heart. And she
yeah.
asks you to breathe in compassion, breathe out faith, breathe in peace, breathe out faith. Breathe in hope, breathe out faith. Breathe in understanding, breathe out faith. Breathe in courage, breathe in faith. And it's just so potent right now because I've been working on creating a compassion circle, and so it's just so time appropriate right now. But I'd
Yeah.
love to hear what I'm getting into when I get my new book on. Um,
Yes.
is it the 11th?
Yes, on the 11th. So it's funny as you were reading that, I realized how interconnected things are because so much of this book, and this book is called The Virtues of Divinity, Awaken the SuperSoul. So this book is kind of 10 years later. Now my main work is in Theta Healing. And in Theta Healing, what I always love about it is this, and I teach this, is if you're going to do a healing, do a complete healing. Get to something. Know where you start and complete that. That doesn't mean you completed everything about it, but make that time really valuable. And so with Theta Healing, it's so much about lessons learned, virtues obtained. And so virtues in the last 10 years, because that's been my main focus, is working toward my master's in Theta Healing. So that's where I work with people, my students, and I see people just like moving through things so quickly, and that's the understanding of virtues. So the virtues go all the way back to Stoicism. And I've always loved Aristotle, and he's one of the main quotes in this book is like, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. And that has always been one of my favorite quotes. So, the virtues of divinity are where I was guided to write about 44 different virtues. So, anything
Wow.
from and I actually created a beautiful little card deck that goes with the book.
Oh, wow. 44
44 cards,
virtues. Oh, I
44
love that.
cards. So you can go, right? There's a virtue on happiness. And it says, there's no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. So then I was sat and I went into conscious writing and I channeled what they wanted me to write around happiness. I did some just like on happiness, I really explored the science of a smile. So it talks a lot in there about how these sort of principles become not what you're trying to do, but what you embody. So in the beginning of the book, it leads with four principles, which are to awaken, means first you got to like know that you want to look at happiness. You need to start exploring it, which leads you to naturally to the second, which is examination. So in that, start looking at and questioning things in your life, and then goes into transformation, which means start doing something about it. And then the fourth principle is embodiment, which means now you don't try to be happy, you are happiness. And that would be in realm of healing, that you have healed to the point that you have the virtue of happiness. So when people have a virtue of happiness, they're just happy. I feel like you definitely have the virtue of happiness, Michelle, right?
I sure try. My mother and I used to have a saying, and it wasn't until Theta Healing that I had to change this, but I used to say with my mom, we both had this thing where we said, patience is a virtue, it's just not our virtue.
Mhm.
And when I recognized that in Theta Healing is that every time I said that, I would reaffirm reasons to learn patience.
Right.
And so now I say, I call upon the power of the virtue of patience
Yeah.
to embody it. So when I'm feeling impatient or something, I need to embody the virtue versus like push it away.
Yeah. And I love it, even when you're saying that, you're pulling it into yourself. So I feel like for myself and what I've learned with all of the healing, and this book really is the culmination of me as the healer and the teacher. What I've learned by working with people, a lot of the virtues would come up naturally during the week when I had a client, and they would end on this virtue with this great like awareness, and I'd be like, oh my God, that's one too. Because patience in there. And the tagline on that one is haste makes waste. So the faster you go, right, and you get hasty, you're actually wasting time. So the virtue really talks about the principles of like slowing down, how to do that, and then how important that would be. And then the underlying current, which is the funny kind of like came through, is this how we are all these like superheroes. Right. And I had the creator showed me that how to bring in, I said, what's a cute little undercurrent I could put in this? And I had a dream about like Superman, and I jokingly call my husband Superman, and it's a thing. So this whole premise of the super soul came through. And the super soul is the best part of us. Like when we are in the embodiment of patience and the embodiment of happiness, and how it's just this natural way to be the best you without even trying. So there's this underlying component of really what does it mean when like Superman finally stops trying to hide behind his glasses and he goes, dun dun dun, I am amazing. I am powerful. I am courageous.
So it's accepting your divine gifts, right?
Yeah, and
It's where
embodying.
you're owning your virtue. And I love this. I'm going to take off my glasses right now
I
and
know we don't
embody
like
my goddess self.
embody that, like, and walk around like, that if you had underneath there that your super soul, what would that look like? What would that feel like? And what virtues do you have that are your strongest? And you could consciously work on them too. If you didn't even know that courage was a virtue, and suddenly you go, that's a virtue that you can be, and then you start working with it. So even on the back of each of the cards, it puts the four principles. So you can look at those, and that's mirrored in the book. And then you could just play with it during the day that way. You could go back to the book and read a little bit. And so I really wrote it in this stream of consciousness. So you could open it up almost in any place and read a line or two, and it would just really could be enough.
This is totally going in my bathroom. So anybody who knows me knows I have bathroom cards. We call it
Yeah.
the toilet of epiphany. And it started with a 365-day meditation book from Diana Ross, which was meditations a book. And I would just open one up randomly before I got in the shower. And then I was like, this is a little bulky for the bathroom. It'd be better to have cards. So I put oracle cards in the bathroom. And I was just recently thinking, what new oracle cards could I have before I get in the shower? So this is definitely going to be my new bathroom deck.
I'm excited for that because it's meant to be like something that you could just take a morsel of. Because I also realize we're all really busy and, we have a lot going on. And sometimes it's just really nice to have some sort of undercurrent of an intention. And that's the way I live my life. And I feel like those are what the virtues are that today mine was about being confident, which means on the front of that is be yourself, everybody else is taken. And when you're really confident, it's like you just are you. You don't have to worry about it because really nobody else could be Felicia sitting here talking to you. So what more?
Self-authority,
Right.
self-authority, self-actualization, right?
Yeah. And as a healer, and you guys that are theta healers, my students are taking these and then downloading themselves with the virtue. They've read something about it and now they're bringing it into their meditations because the virtues, when you study them deeply, they're a light language. They actually carry spiritual powers, which is why they would make you a super soul. It's why you can start working with the laws of the universe differently. It's why you can manifest quicker than anyone else. It's why you get grand ideas, right, Michelle? The more virtues we have, the stronger healers, and we're able to do things. That's really what I see Theta Healing about.
When I was taking the first classes of Theta Healing, I was really deep in a medieval reenactment group called the SCA. I
Mhm.
still am, but I'm just saying at that time, they medieval times chivalry is about embodying the virtues. So for me, I just went through this whole list of medieval virtues and created it and stuck it on my wall at the time. I was just like, okay, this is the temperance is a virtue,
Mhm.
chastity is a virtue. And sometimes I
Creativity.
didn't,
Look, that's the next one. Creativity, right?
right.
You
And I
just
didn't
you do it
understand
yourself.
them, right? Like when I understood the law of humility was not about being humble as acceptance, right? The virtue of acceptance,
Yeah.
right? If you don't first accept something, you cannot change it, is the law of humility. And
Mhm.
so it was the virtue of acceptance that I needed to like truly embody and learn. So I'm so excited about this. So tell me, Felicia, how can I and your viewers and the people that are watching this get a hold of this?
Okay, so with the cards and the book, if you want in on Amazon, because I'm self-published, there's just the book. So you could go to Amazon and you could find it that way. But if you want me to sign it and you want the card deck, go to therapyforthesoul.org, and there I have a banner where you can click on and take you to ordering that, and then I can send it to you wherever. And I'll
Oh,
take
I
time.
want the signed one
So that's
and
where
the
you'd order
card
through the
deck.
website where you can get the sign, which I say order through the website because you want the card deck. And then I can write a little magical download that comes through. That's what I've been guided. So I'll just do a download for you and then you'll get your book. So those are, like I said, on therapyforthesoul.org. And I'm putting up, there'll be a banner right on the home page that you can just click to that'll take you to the product page. And it's an easy process. The books will be in my hand a little bit later in the week. So it'll take about a week to get them, which is no big deal. And, that's where we can stay connected. And you can also check out the other things. You can see the Theta Healing work because Michelle and I are working together more and more with that as well. And just there's all kinds of stuff that'll carry you to fun things. I even have my YouTube videos and I do angel messages and things on there too. So I don't know, I'm just having fun with it all.
That isn't that the point?
Yeah.
Isn't fun a virtue? Like
Yes.
one of the things I remember Viana saying on the very first time I was in Idaho Falls, she said, fun is what we're here to have.
Mhm.
Fun is what we are here to embody and do. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be fun. And she even says, and it's going to be funner. And so I think that this new phase of of your experience is going to be funner. That's
Yeah,
my prediction. And
definitely.
I'm very
Definitely.
excited for this opportunity. And so if you had one last imparting gift of wisdom to bring to us today, to the audience today, what is the one thing you want to share today?
So I'll share what was on the confidence card. And the challenge on there was to do one thing towards something that you wanted to have in your life. So today, confidently press yourself to step outside your comfort zone. Do it with confidence. Like, even just be put on your most confident self, do your hair, do your whatever, wear your right shirt, and go out and step outside that comfort zone and start to move towards what you really want. Because, even this book came as an idea on a napkin, and there was nobody to tell me to do it every day. But I committed to getting up and writing every morning, staying in a place of openness, and kept challenging myself to get help and, not try to do it all myself. So if you really want something, you're going to have to press yourself a little bit, but do it with confidence. And like Michelle said, have fun with it.
Right. Like we're here to have joy and fun and
Yes.
play. And that is definitely Viana's style for
Yes.
sure. And she's such a good inspiration for us. And I'm grateful she brought us together because I
Definitely.
don't think without Theta Healing we would have ever met. And so I'm very grateful to you and to this work and the embodiment of this work, which is what I think these books are about. And so I can't wait to get my hands on the new one.
Yes.
And I will make sure that we link that. So if you didn't know how it was spelled or anything, don't worry. We'll put it in the comment
Perfect.
section. And so you can pick up your own copy if you're watching.
Yeah, I
So,
can't wait to put little downloads of light in them for everybody. So, and help me.
yeah,
So I got a goal. I'm releasing it March 11th, and by April 11th, my goal is to sell 1,111 copies. So
let's help.
there we go.
Absolutely.
I'm
I
already
can, I
halfway there. I'm halfway there with pre-orders. So you guys just keep helping and we'll get it out there, because that's the angel blessing number. So
Well, I can see you are blessed by angels. 1111 is my number.
yeah.
I'm an 11 life path number.
Oh,
And
amazing.
so every time I see 1111, my mother, when the digital clocks first came out, like when I was a little girl, she would say, make a wish. And so every day, twice a day, with no fail, I make a wish. And
That's
so my wish for you is that you make your goal with grace and ease and love and joy.
I received that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your message, your time, and the commitment that you've made to putting these works that will live on beyond you and your legacy into the world for us to be inspired by. And
Wonderful.
I'll see all of you again next time. This is Living Magically. You can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, and on anywhere you see your podcasts. And we love you very much. Have a great day. Live magically.
Bye.